want to bring things back home here to the future of downtown Milwaukee and whether or not that continues to include a couple of buildings that have been around for a minute. The Miller High Life Theater, which was previously the Milwaukee Auditorium, and the UWM Milwaukee Panther Arena, previously the Arena, right? Where we had all the naming rights and all of that stuff. I have new information this morning about this study that we talked about on Wisconsin's Morning News on Tuesday. It was commissioned by the Wisconsin Center District. Wisconsin Center District owns and operates both of the properties I just mentioned. And what that could mean for the district, for downtown, and for the tenants of the arena, principally Milwaukee Admirals and UWM basketball.
Having a big picture, long-term perspective of what we could become, along with the expense just to maintain status quo, will help us in our development of the number of years a new agreement with UWM and the Admirals should be.
That is Marty Brooks. He's president and CEO of the Wisconsin Center District, which also includes your convention center, now called the Baird Center downtown.
Yep.
So he was addressing the WCD Board of Directors this past spring. So the reporting on the story is new, but the story's not new. It's kind of been out there. But he was announcing the study at the time, reported on by the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel's Tom Dakin just this week.
In assessing the length of a future agreement, we need to consider what is the best and highest usage of the facilities and the WCD's real estate. If we aren't growing, we as an organization are dying.
Dakin, in his piece this week, wrote, the arena and neighboring Miller High Life Theater are the subject of a study that could recommend different uses, including a large hotel for the 6.4-acre downtown site, which hosts those aging facilities on West Kilbourne Avenue. So here's my information. I spoke with, I'll just call it multiple people who are connected to the Wisconsin Center District, and they spoke with me not on the record, but on background. And a quick journalistic aside, that is, I can't tell you who they are, but I am able to share some of the perspective or background that they offered.
But you, as a knowledgeable person who's lived here forever and knows the Wisconsin Center District, are able to go and chat with these folks using your information that you've always known and bouncing it off of things that they might be able to help lead you to an answer you're looking for.
Thank you for those kind words, Eric. Yes,
well, but
right.
I mean,
and I will build out this narrative based on that. And generally speaking, yes, you prefer to get someone on the record. However, sometimes when they're on the record, they don't tell you anything anyway. Right? It's an empty soundbite of, well, all sides need to come together and think about what's best for them. Right? I got actual information here.
We're fans of the Panthers.
Yes, we love everybody. Everybody loves everybody. There's nothing to see.
Go ads.
So here's what I've learned. From the perspective of the Baird Center, at least right now, they're kind of in nothing to see here. This is merely due diligence. And they're not angry that it's been reported, but this happened in spring. It's out in these are public meetings. Anyone can attend. No one's trying to hide anything. There's nothing nefarious happening here. We're just doing our due diligence.
But you're paying for a study that would potentially mean removing the arena and that theater. I mean, that's
fair counter.
It's worth the question.
Yes. Wisconsin Center District is backed by the state, and it's funded by taxes levied locally. Food and beverage, car rentals, hotel tax, et cetera. You know this when you travel somewhere else and the hotel rate was, $150 and you end up paying $210. You're like, what the hell happened here?
Yeah.
Well, just like that, people who come and visit our town get dinged with various taxes, and one of them is something that supports the Wisconsin Center District. But it is a public entity, so there's no big ownership group trying to line their pockets in anything they do. This belongs to the taxpayer. It's a publicly owned entity. And as such, they are looking at, in the case of Miller High Life Theater, a vastly underused facility. I just looked it up. You know how many dates are booked, at least that are reflected on the calendar for the Miller High Life Theater for the month of November? How many dates?
Is it less than 3?
It is, Eric. It's 2. 2 dates in all of November are booked right now for the Miller High Life Theater. So, and actually, this is better than it used to be. I mean, I really think under Brooks's leadership, they have done what they can to book more things there. Right. So there are some things. It's not fair to say there's nothing there, but it's vastly underutilized. And you can go back in time and pick the scab and say we never should have, decades ago, spent $50 million or whatever the price tag was, refurbishing the old Milwaukee Auditorium and turning it into this because this is what we got for it.
It is pretty.
But what's done is done, and it's a fine venue.
Yes.
It really is. So anyway, you have the Wisconsin Center District here, and as such, they are looking at, in the case of the High Life Theater, and then also the beloved arena, 75 years old. in whose lifetime, if you need perspective on that, another arena was already argued about, built, and demolished in the Bradley Center, and now we have Fiserv Forum. So it's old.
Yep. It's been there.
So what I'm hearing, WCD is simply examining what is the future. Should we, as stewards of the taxpayer, continue to maintain and invest in these facilities? And if not, what else could go in those spaces to the benefit of the district? So they're like, we're doing our job. We're supposed to do this.
And I imagine that that takes energy and time and money, too, to continue to operate both facilities.
For
also.
sure. And what kind of money might you need to put into the arena for it to remain viable? It's undergone upgrades, and I believe the Milwaukee Admirals had contributed to that. They've been good partners as a tenant there, and have been willing to pay for some of those things as well. But long term, if you want that thing to get to 100, which is only 25 years from now, like, what are you going to have to do to put into a building that's turning a century old? So from the tenant perspective, I'm hearing kind of wait and see. I'm not hearing panic. Their belief is nothing is concluded. We have this study here. It could come back and suggest, no, you guys are doing great. What you got there is good. Like to see some more things in that theater. But tearing that down and trying to do something else, like, that's not viable. That could happen.
Do we need more hotels? I mean, I know that's always a story.
Whole other, how long you got, right, to talk about that question?
Oh, gosh. I mean, we're just having this argument by Fiserv building that second hotel there.
There are more hotels, and then there's a traditional convention center hotel, which some would argue, well, you sort of have that in, the Hilton downtown, which connects via Skywalk.
Yep.
You also have the Hyatt, which connects via Skywalk.
That's right.
But those are smaller. What about a massive hotel? I do have information that suggests that for big conventions, what they don't want to do is deal with 13 hotel properties.
Oh, I see.
They want to deal with 1 or 2. And preferably, nobody has to ever go outside, right? So you could argue maybe there's a space for that. Could you not look to local partners for that? Whole other conversation. What I'm hearing, again, on the tenant perspective is, all right, say the study comes back and does suggest that actually something else would be better. Like, long-term for you, the study says, yeah, you're going to have to get rid of this arena or whatever. Where does that leave the tenants? UWM basketball could always continue playing at the Klatsche Center. That's not great for them. If you want to be a premier D1 program, and no, are they ever going to be Duke? No. But if you want to be better than what you are, playing in a gym is not where you want to be. So then does UWM then have to look at long-term facilities enhancement? I don't know that that's in the budget for UW. So that would put them in a tough spot. As for the Admirals, to merely suggest, well, they got Fiserv Forum over there. Well, Fiserv was deliberately built not to be an Admirals facility for a reason. They didn't want to have ice in there for the entire duration of the AHL season.
So they do have ice, but
they can do ice, yes.
Excuse me, but it's what, just temporary, like when Disney comes or something?
Disney
like
comes,
that?
they build the rink for a week, and then they thaw it out and they take it down. Or there's in December now they have the Holiday Classic where the Badgers have an invitational for hockey, and they put the ice up and they take it out. When we had the Bradley Center, the ice stayed up for the whole season. It was one of the complaints from the NBA was, players complained that the building was too cold and that there was condensation on the court because they'd lay an insulating layer underneath there and then they'd build the court on top of the ice. So they don't want to do that. And
it's cost for them.
This is me now. This is not sourced information, but it's, if you want to argue, well, the Admirals just go next door at Fiserv then instead, I don't know that that's a real possibility. So then what for the Admirals?
God, Madison? Kohl Center?
And even if that were a possibility, now if you're the Nashville Predators, who are the parent organization for the Admirals, the AHL affiliate for the NHL team is the Admirals. If you're Nashville, well, look, if we're going to get up and move the team, then might as well bring them closer to Tennessee.
Don't say that.
Instead of, if we're going to do a move, might as well bring them closer so we don't have to put guys on airplanes if we need them to play tonight here in the NHL. So that doesn't look good if it were suggested that the arena is no longer viable. That would not look good for the long-term future of the Admirals here in Milwaukee. But all of that said, cart right now way ahead of the horse, according to the multiple people that I talked to who are close to this. Let's just see what happens in January when this study comes out. But then there could be conversations that may need to be had.
You're having the study for a reason. It's not just, you know what? These guys offered to do this study for us.
we just thought,
figured, take a look on it.
Right.